welcome to Life on Turkey Lane. I'm Sheila. I'm so glad you're here tonight. And tonight I have I think a very fun video for you. And I hope you'll enjoy it. As you can see, I'm sitting here on the porch of my little tiny farmhouse. And I thought it would be fun. I know you guys have seen clips of it in the background on various videos that I've showed you. And I thought it would be fun tonight to kind of tell you what this is and how we made it over and turned it into this little tiny farmhouse. And I'll show you pictures of the inside. It does need to be redone again. Well, let me start over. This tiny farmhouse was a camper. And my daughter decided several years back that she wanted to try the tiny house living, and so she purchased this little camper, and we fixed up the inside back about 4 or 5 years ago, and she stayed in it for almost a year and really enjoyed it. But when we moved to this property, she decided that she would rather live inside the main house, and so this little camper sat empty for quite a while. And now, as you might know, our daughter has moved out on her own, and she has her little apartment of her own, and she didn't want the little camper anymore. And so we relocated it on our property here and set it up in a place that I thought would be cute, and turned it into our little tiny farmhouse. And so if you stay tuned to the end of this video, I'm going to show you clips of what the inside of it looked like right after we fixed it up for her. And then I will also show pictures of the process we went through to turn it in from a camper into this little building that you see here today. And so you'll want to stay tuned for the end of the video to see that, because I think you'll enjoy those pictures. Anyway, I started on a little project here just recently for this little tiny camper that I want to share with you. We didn't get a chance to finish everything up last year when we started the project. It got a little bit too late in the year and just some different things. And so I really wanted a cupola for the top of this little tiny farmhouse with a weather vane, with a rooster weather vane. Well, my husband was dead set kind of against it. For one, because when I had researched cupolas and looked at the prices and even looked at plans on building one, even the plans were quite expensive. And for just this little building in our yard, we didn't feel like it merited that kind of an expense, even because we had already spent quite a bit on the siding and different things. So to make a long story short, he had kind of said no to the cupola, but I got this idea in my head and a kind of a plan in my head of what I wanted to do, and so I'm building my own. So I'm going to take you into the garage here in just a little bit and show you how far along I am on this cupola and what I'm doing to make it. But before then, why don't we head inside the camper and or the tiny farmhouse and take a look at it now. Now, like I said, we redid it about 5 years ago, and it's a little worse for the wear because it's gone through a move, and it went through sitting on the property here for a couple of years without any attention, and it really needed a new roof at the time. So we've got some roof leaks issues on the ceiling that needs to be repaired, and a few different things. But I'll take you through a tour of what it looks like now, and like I said, at the end of the video I'll show you pictures of how it looked when it was first redone. I do plan on giving it a fresh paint job and fixing some of the things that need to be repaired inside, maybe hopefully this summer. But anyway, let's go in and take a little tour of the tiny farmhouse and show you around, and then we'll head into the garage and I'll show you what I've got done so far on the cupola, and hopefully this works out for me. And so yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. So let's go take a look inside the farmhouse. Okay, so let's head on inside and I'll show you around in here. Now it's a bit messy in here. It sat on our property empty for a couple years, without our daughter living in it. And she was kind of rough on it to begin with. So, but we have some different repair work and things we need to do in here. But let me just give you a short little tour of our cute little tiny farmhouse. Our camper turned into a tiny farmhouse. Here is, like the eating section, and I recovered the cushions to the little dining area here, and then there was no table in here when we purchased this, but I had this table that my father-in-law gave me that is actually an antique folding table, and it looks absolutely gorgeous in here and is perfect for this little tiny farmhouse. And then I have on the back wall here, and you can see lots of water damage on the roof. Before we had an opportunity to fix the roof and add the siding on and put a new roof on the camper, like I said, it sat on our property for a little while and got a little damaged. So, but we have a little rustic wall here with some old fence boards from our old house and a homemade sign. I made the little sign there. Hand painted, hand everything. That was before I had a cricket. I got a cricket for Christmas this summer, so at Christmas this winter and this past year, and so we're going to do a few projects with that. But yeah, that one was handmade, and we're going to have to do a lot of repainting and stuff like that, and fixing of the ceiling just a bit. The backsplash, we need to fix the backsplash and do something new there. Now this camper, when we redid the inside of it for our daughter, it actually had nothing. It didn't have the furnace or nothing in it. And so we had found this little fireplace here. It's actually just a heater. It looks kind of like a fireplace, and it actually does work, although I don't have any electric run to it right now. It was only $25. We found it at a shop someplace. It was an Amish store, I believe. And so we put that in here, and then now it has a microwave and also a refrigerator. Now the bathroom, when we moved this camper from its old spot at our old house about 4 years ago or so, the bathroom was in perfect shape, but when we moved it, some of the walls came loose and it's pretty damaged. And right now I've got some storage in here, some fall decorations and Christmas decorations from last year that I put out on the porch here. But yeah, so the bathroom was very nice at one time, and there was a pretty low shower curtain, and we had a little seat, and you can hear my neighbor shooting. Sorry about that. He's target shooting in the backyard. So anyway, we have some repairs to do, but I'm so thrilled to have it on this little spot here in our yard. It looks wonderful out here, and hopefully this summer I'll get the time and the energy to do a little fixing up in here. But yeah, so that's our little tiny farmhouse here at Life on Turkey Lane. Now let's go into the garage and I will show you what I'm doing for the cupola for this little tiny farmhouse. I think it's turning out really good. Like I said, these plans were just in my head, and so but it's turning out okay, so I'm pretty excited about that. And so let's go into the garage and I'll share that with you. Okay, so my garage is a huge disaster because of the tiny farmhouse project we started last year, and we didn't get done with what we were doing until pretty late in the year, like in November, I would say it was. And so we just never have really got the garage cleaned out. I have some scrap siding and scrap wood and different things left over, and part of that is what we are using to build this cupola. And so let me turn you around and show you. If you're not familiar with what a cupola is, it's usually a vented roof system, and a lot of times they'll have a weather vane on the top of it, and So that's what we're building here, even though it's not going to function as a vent system for our roof on the tiny farmhouse. It's just a decoration. So, but anyway, if you can see here, I found some. Now, when I was researching cupolas, it said that your cupola should be about, for every foot of the length of your roof, your cupola should be about 1 inch long, or, you know, square, whatever. So my roof on the tiny camper is, or the tiny farmhouse, is 16 foot long. So I measured out, and our cupola should be around 16 inches square. So that's what it is. And I had found, actually I'm surprised I found them, because usually when I get something in my head, I search everywhere. I never can find exactly what I'm looking for, but it just so happened that I was looking for shutters, and I found shutters at a little thrift store here. I got all 4 of them. They're indoor shutters, but they are made out of wood, and I got all 4 of them for $5. So they were a little bigger than what I was looking for. I was looking for about 18-inch long ones, and then I wouldn't have had to cut them down, but these were about 24 inches long, I think, or a little more. So they each one had to be cut down. And now I actually wasn't going to share this project on Facebook on YouTube with you guys, but it's turning out better than I thought. So I figured, why not share it, just in case any of you out there might have the desire to make yourself a little tiny farmhouse. Then you can get an idea of what we did to this camper. And also, if you happen to want a cupola on top of your shed or something like that to decorate it up, you don't have to spend $150 for plans to build one. And this one is going to end up being super inexpensive for us. So these cupolas can be really, really pricey. I'm talking in the hundreds of dollars, and even then, you know, you have to look for ones that are the right size for you. So I'm really proud of this project, guys. I can't help it. I had to show you because it's not finished, but it's turning out really, really cute. And all of it's out of scraps. I mean, what I've got into it so far is $5 for the little shutters here. Now, like I said, and I'll bring you up closer, I had to cut the shutters down. So I had to cut the one end off and shorten the shutter, and then place the end back in there, staple it back in there with brads. So this box is 16 inches square, and then on the bottom here, this is leftover fence pickets from some of the skirting around the tiny farmhouse that we put on it. And then the roof, as you can see, is leftover siding. All I did to build this was I cut down my shutters first, and they're all 16 inches long, and tacked them together in a square. And then the fence pickets here, the leftover fence pickets, I made a square with those the same size and just tacked it on the bottom. And now on the inside, I don't know how much you'll be able to see here, but on the inside I just used scrap pieces of wood for braces to hold these things together. It's all brad nailed together. And even the roofing, even the inside of the roof is put together with scrap pieces of 1x2 and different pieces of scrap that I had here at the house in this messy garage. I had a scrap piece of the ridge cap from the roof build, and so I used it on my table here to measure out the sides of the cupola here so that it would fit over my ridge cap. And now it slides along that ridge cap perfect. And now I have to make some little brackets to screw it onto the ridge cap. Now, normally when you put a cupola on a building, you put it on before you put the ridge cap on, and you screw it down with flashing, and then you put the ridge cap on. Well, we don't have that option, and my husband said that he is not going to get back on the roof and take that ridge cap off for this. So Sheila has to come up with a plan for this to work without taking that ridge cap back off the house, or off the tiny farmhouse. And so that's one of the reasons why I wasn't even going to share this project with you, because if it doesn't go up there and stay on there like it's supposed to, and if it looks silly or something like that, I'm going to have to scrap this idea. So I wasn't going to share it with you, but it's turning out fantastic, and I thought it would be something enjoyable for you to see. Like I said, it may be a project that you want to do yourself, and you've been looking at plans on Googling plans and researching plans or seeing prices of these things, and I'm going to tell you, $500 and something, they're not getting that out of me. So I just wanted to show you that this is something really inexpensive that you can do and make out of scrap materials, and save yourself boatloads of money and still have something cute in the end. So pray with me that this all works out and that this goes on the roof up there as I have it in my brain. And if you've made it this far, I hope you'll stay tuned for the rest of the video. I'm going to show you pictures of what the inside of the little camper looked like when we first redid it for our daughter, and how nice it was. And then I'm also going to tack on pictures of what the outside of this thing looked like before we put new siding and different things on it and turned it into our tiny farmhouse. I thank you for joining me tonight here at Life on Turkey Lane. I really do appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.